We're continuing to play really good basketball, great offensive pace. Thought the last two games defensively we slipped a little. Tonight I thought we got back to really defending at an extremely high level, causing 20 turnovers. Holding them to 33% in a game is really hard to do. We had a big focus on number 32, Mathis. Didn't want him to get any clean looks. I thought we did a really good job with him, and obviously coming out of the start of the game, you could tell that we were not going to be passive or settle, that we were going to attack the rim with reckless abandon, which we did.
Questions? You feel like the guys came out with a revenge factor, with trying to send a message back to New Mexico based on that first game?
I mean, I think we've been playing really well, regardless of who we play, Chris. Obviously, New Mexico played great in Albuquerque, and I stated that, Jazz had a shoulder and had gotten a shot prior to that, and we had some guys sick, but they got us really good. And tonight we were healthy, and the crowd was incredible here. I mean, it's like what this community is doing right now with this team it's insane. I've never been a part of anything like it. Everywhere we go, people are into Wolfpack basketball. It's the coolest thing that I've ever been a part of. From a coaching standpoint, and I know our players feel the same way. I mean, I pulled up tonight, and the student line was like a UNLV game an hour and a half before the game, and the line started two and a half hours before tip-off. So crowd played a big impact on how we played tonight, and we're doing a good job sharing the ball. We shoot 50% from the field. We have 9 steals, 22 points off turnovers, hold them to only 9 offensive rebounds. Out-rebounded by 14. So a lot of really positive things for sure.
I mean, Trey really got involved offensively. I mean, how much does that help when he's giving you that kind of presence down low?
Yeah, I thought TP was absolutely phenomenal. 20 points, 9 boards. He was so active, and he did all that. He had 20 points in just 24 minutes. I mean, that shows you the way that he dominated the game, and I thought the whole team really rebounded. Jordan Caroline's defensive rebounding tonight was incredible. And Caleb's playing at a high level. He's doing a good job attacking the rim. He did it again tonight, and Caroline did a good job attacking the rim as well.
What was the key to that start tonight?
I mean, we just played a road game in Fort Collins, and we led the entire game. We've been leading a lot of games from start to finish. We're playing as good as we've played all year. We keep getting better as the season progresses, and offensively, everyone panicked up about our zone last time we played them. Obviously, we added a completely new offensive set that we've never run before against zone tonight. I don't care if our opponents know what it's called. It's called touchdown, and we picked their defense apart in our zone offense tonight.
Was that the one, the first basket?
Yeah, we ran it the whole first half. Yep.
Why did you want to implement that one?
Just give them something different that they hadn't seen, and wanted the ball to move. We didn't want to move the zone with the dribble. We wanted to move the zone with the pass.
They obviously released the seedings today. You guys are a 4th seed, but number 6 in the country, I guess. Do you feel like you need to have games like this where you're just knocking people out by lopsided margins to be able to inch back up, higher into the bracket? Is that
Yeah, I think a couple things. Number one, with the show today, what incredible exposure for the university. Incredible to, be on that show, and the exposure that our, they talked about us as much as any team because of whatever reason. And, we're just happy to be a part of that 16. And anybody that says differently is, those are some really big names in there. But just like I said during the telecast, there's 5 weeks to play basketball. we have such a hard schedule coming up. We have so many hard venues to go play in. I think with the media, the fans, my wife, my daughter, nobody understands how hard it is to win a game, and I've said it over and over. It's like you walk out there every night and it's 50% chance, and we got a lot of games to play, and right now our goal is how do we win the Mountain West. That's regular season. That's what we're, it's a goal at the beginning of the year, and then we readjust after that. But we're playing really good basketball, obviously, and
Utah State has played has helped your guys focus on that goal, because it's not like you're way past them and they can look forward. Like, they can't lose a game if they want to stay in front of Utah State.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're, the thing I'm most impressed is just it's a grind for these guys because they're student athletes. The pressure that they play under every night. Tonight there was a lot of pressure. I mean, you're playing a team. You don't know unless you're at all of our. Like when we're we can feel it. If we lose this game tonight, then the same team beat us twice, and their record is what it is. We couldn't lose tonight's game, and so that's pressure, and these guys just keep rising to the occasion when called upon. And again, when this season started, if someone would have said we'd be 24 games in and have one loss, nobody would have thought that was going to happen. And so we got 5 weeks to keep trying to play well.
They had only 4 points on their first 27 possessions. I mean, how did the defensive energy and intensity kind of open this game up for you guys? Yeah,
I thought the defense was everything. The defense and the rebounding. I just thought we were really tough tonight. We were embarrassed last game. We really were. And, that's what you're supposed to do when you're not happy with your play. You're supposed to come out and you're supposed to play like that defensively. And then, the truth of the matter is we scored 91 points and only made 6 threes. That's got to be one of our lower three-point made. If we make a couple more of those, the thing gets a little higher.
You guys have really dominated the last 5 games or so. Is the challenge now to keep this level of play over the next 2 months? How difficult is that? There's still a lot of games.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult, Joe, for sure. I think the big thing for us is and I kept telling the team in the second half, build habits, build habits, build habits, build defensive habits, build offensive sharing the ball habits. So yeah, I think it's for sure a challenge, and the one thing we've done is we've gotten better for 4 years as this thing's progressed. And, we lost last year in the conference tournament, but we were able to bounce back. So even last year's run, we played really good down the stretch, but then we lost a game. And if you lose a game, you got to figure out how to bounce back. And we played really good for stretches at Colorado State, and then there were stretches that we didn't really play that well.
What's the challenge with a very, very good team to get it to keep playing better? It's got to be very difficult to do.
You got to be hungry, as a group. The group's got to be hungry every single day to get better. So Monday when we get back on the practice floor, we're going to have a really intense practice. We're not going soft. We're getting after it Monday because we don't have a game Wednesday or Tuesday. So we are going to have physical practices this week, and we're going to be very demanding on what our expectations are going into Laramie. And we're going to prep like it's the 7th game of the World Championship and the last game of our lives as we prepare to go into Laramie.
Why was the goal to attack with reckless abandon at the start of the game?
We did not want to be the non-aggressive team tonight. I didn't care if we had 10 charges to start the game. We just did not want to settle, and we wanted to be whoever was on the floor. We wanted them to be the 5 most aggressive people in the building.
Coach, 6 players between 10 and 20 points. Is that preferable to maybe having to count on a spectacular, Jordan Caroline type game, or that even scoring? Is that something you'd like to see?
I don't know, Duke. Not really. Sometimes those guys get rolling, and I like that too. Because with 3, I don't know if Jack can tell you, but like with 3:30 something, I think it was, there was a timeout. And Cody and Caleb and Jordan Caroline got in the faces of the other guys and said, if you're not going to defend like we are, we want back in the game. And that's the type of group we have. Like when I heard that, I was like, wow, that's freaking special. Now it's also they want to go get their numbers too. And I get that, you know, and some coaches are like scared to talk about numbers and guys having career nights. And like when Jordan was rolling, I told him, give him the ball. Like he's in his zone and you got to, but to hear those guys, like they were literally upset that New Mexico had scored a couple buckets in a row. And Cody and Caleb wanted back in the game. And, you know, they were getting after me too to get them back in if we weren't going to defend.
It seems like you'd like to play those guys the whole game. What made you, with about 5 minutes to go, give the reserves, a chance to get out there?
Yeah, so Caleb obviously sprained his ankle. He did not practice yesterday. I made a poor decision on Thursday because it was still sore. We probably should have held him out. And shame on me. I went and asked Caleb if he wanted to practice, and of course he's going to say yes because that's who he is. And then when I heard that it was sore yesterday, I said, you're not practicing. Do not suit up. Don't ask. End of equation. And then today he goes up, suits up, and shoot around and goes really hard. So, but I shouldn't have. It was really dumb on my part to practice him or allow him to practice on Thursday, and I learned a lesson because it aggravated it a little bit more.
You anticipate giving him some rest with this long week?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to, rest, I mean, the thing is, like, I trust these guys, they trust me. I don't really make the calls usually. It's usually them, and they're really smart about what they need to do. All right, they're here. Thanks.
How nice was it to come back and beat them after the way you guys played in that first game?
It felt good. It felt really good just because I knew, it was a personal game for us because we know that we didn't play our best game, obviously, and the way things went at their place, and we just knew that wasn't us, and we knew that we could be a lot better. And I think today we kind of just came into it with an aggressive mindset and went into it thinking like we're taking every possession seriously, playing defense all 40 minutes because, when we watched film, when we played at their place, it was just it was really disappointing to see how we played and the effort that we gave. So, I mean, it was only right that we came back and just played our game and just stayed aggressive.
Coach mentioned he wanted a quick start. He didn't care if you guys went out and got called for fouls and all that. I'm imagining that message got through to you guys right before the game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was like a tone setter, like just being aggressive from the start and kind of just playing our game. I think when we're at their place, we're kind of playing to kind of like maintain and just make sure that we weren't making a lot of mistakes, and that's what caused us to make a lot of mistakes. And I think that obviously that was like we had been seeing zone, but they had a different kind of zone, and we're kind of trying to fill it out, make adjustments on the fly. And I think that we were just thinking too much when we played there, and they were hitting shots too. We weren't defending, so that's obviously why their lead, a lot of separation at their place happened. I think today we just played hard. I think we just try to get every loose ball. We try to rebound the ball really hard. We played with a lot more pace, and at the end of the day, we just had fun and kind of just played our game and just being aggressive the whole 40 minutes. So
there were a couple points where I thought their body language and things like that they looked rattled.
Yeah.
I don't think you see a lot in Division I basketball. I mean, did you see something similar on the floor?
I think it was more. That they kind of like they knew that it was going to get out of hand if they didn't get it situated, and they knew that we were being aggressive, and they knew that we were going to come into it with this mindset. And I took the game personal just because I don't like. Obviously, number one, I don't like losing, and two, they said some things at their place, and I think that they heard what we had to say at our place. So it is what it is. It's basketball, and at the end of the day, I'm just going out there and competing. It doesn't matter who it's against, whether it's them or somebody else. I'm going to play the same way. So I think that it just gave us that extra push, knowing who we had coming in and what had happened at their place, and just knew that wasn't our game, and knew that we didn't play our best basketball there, and knew that we could be a lot better. And today we were a lot better, and I think that we took a step in the right direction for our team.
It seemed like there was a lot of talking, especially early. Was that come, from the last game? Did that come from that game, or did
it was from last game and it was from last game and this game. I mean, we weren't the only ones saying stuff. They were saying stuff too, and it is what it is. It's not, I don't hold grudges, but we're competing at the end of the day, and I'm just trying to win, and they trying to win at the same time, and I think both sides are just trying to get their point across.
That makes it fun though, doesn't it?
Of course.
When you compete like that.
Yeah.
What was the point you feel like you got across today?
That the way we played at their place just wasn't our team. I think that we just came into it and wanted to not only prove to them, but prove to ourselves that wasn't us, and that we wanted to prove to ourselves that we could play a lot better, that we could make more shots, that we could figure out the zone or man or whatever it is, that we could rebound with anybody. I think it was more of a game just to prove to ourselves rather than them, to be honest with you. I think it was just to prove to ourselves that at the end of the day, it wasn't us. So.
Coach said you guys implemented a play called touchdown against their zone.
Yeah.
How do you think that kind of
something like that?
He said he doesn't mind if other teams know what it's called. How do you feel like that kind of worked against their zone and what they were doing last time?
I think it was just a small adjustment that we made, and there wasn't nothing crazy. It wasn't a lot of movement, a lot of action. It was something very, very simple, and I think it kind of just helped us open up the lanes. It made them make a decision whether they're for the middle guy, whether they're going to play him or play the guards on the outside. And a lot of times they were just giving up that shot, and we were hitting it today. And I think that since we've been playing against so much zone, our guys have got more confident at taking that shot. And I think that's something that we struggled on early on in the season, is being that wide open from that distance. I think that we kind of were just shook when we first got there because we weren't used to taking wide open shots. And I think that it was just a very, very small adjustment, and I think it was just reps too, us getting the reps up at the same time and having the confidence to take that shot, whether you make it or miss it. And I don't know, very, very small adjustment, but it worked.
You guys were on the selection show today as a 4 seed, but you're 6th in the nation. Do you feel like you guys still have to prove some things to people and win these games by pretty wide margins to be able to get a better seed?
Probably. But at the end of the day, that's what we want to do anyways. I don't really watch TV, so I don't really pay attention to what's going on and all that other stuff. I just do the same stuff every day. I come into practice, I practice, I go home, chill, come back to the gym, and do the same thing all over again. So, I don't really pay attention to that stuff. I know that we're going to have to compete at a high level, and I think that we're going to have to win games at a high level for us to prove ourselves every day. But at the end of the day, we want to prove that to ourselves. That's the stuff we want to do anyways. We don't want to just get by. So I'm trying to play hard. I'm trying to have fun. It's my last year, so it's hard to win no matter what, whether it's home or away. It doesn't matter what team. It's really, really tough. This conference is, I think, very underrated, and I think that this conference is really good, and we got good teams in there, and we're gonna have to bring our A game every time we play. So,
Coach says you guys stay hungry. That's important over the next year. What keeps you guys hungry? What keeps that fire burning?
I think the biggest thing for us is just knowing that it's our last year. A lot of our last year, and I think that we just want to go out with a bang and just have as much fun as we can, and put ourselves in the best position to turn dreams into reality. So I don't know. I think that's what really drives us and drives our team. And at the same time, we have great chemistry. We love playing for each other. Like we have fun with each other. Like it's fun playing with these guys. So it's not like you go into practice and you dread it. Like we do the same stuff every day, and our guys are really, really consistent. So it's not a job. It's just that's what we love to do. So.
Obviously, guys, I mean, March, you know what that's all about, but is it to the point where it's like you just don't want this to end this season because it is so much fun and so much success? And,
of course. Yeah, of course. You never want it to end, especially realizing it's your last year and you don't know, a lot of guys don't know what they're going to do the next year. So, I mean, all you do know is what's going on right now and what's in the present. And I think that we should just take advantage of that and focus on the present. And I think that's, something that just keeps us going, and that's what makes it fun for us. And that's why we play so hard, and that's why we play for each other. And, very, very, very unselfish team. And I don't know. I think that's why we have the most fun.
You guys are winning by 15, 20, even more, lately since the New Mexico loss. When you're on that kind of roll, do you almost wish you did have the midweek game this week, or is the lack of a game a chance to maybe heal up a little bit, or how do you feel about that?
It doesn't really matter to me. I just look at it as a little bit more preparation. That's all it is, and our staff and our team does a great job at prepping, and that's what we do, and that's what we pride ourselves on, is making sure that we're prepared for the next game. And either way, it wouldn't really matter, but since we don't have the mid game, it's fine with us. It just gives us more time to make sure that we know our next opponents and make sure we get their plays down pat and all that. So, I mean, it just allows us to get a little bit more rest, allows us to get more reps. And the biggest thing, goes back to being prepared for that team and understanding that, we lost to them at their place, and we just have to make sure we're prepared and that we're going into it with a lot of focus and kind of just being aggressive from the start. So.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Questions for Caleb?
How happy are you with the way you guys came out today? Kind of a vindication game, kind of?
Of course. Yeah, I mean, obviously we love to come out and play like that, have a great start like that, and obviously everyone had something to prove this game on our end, and you wanted to prove to everybody that it was kind of a fluke showing on our end of the first game. But yeah, it's great. It's great to come out like that and to come out with the lead like that and have guys, playing some of their best basketball from the jump. So that's exactly what we wanted to do.
Speaking of from the jump, I mean, you guys were all over them, and Coach had mentioned that that's exactly what he wanted to see. And was it a case of you were worried maybe almost being too hyped up, or were you guys able to dial that down with experience and stuff like that?
It's more just being pissed off, really. Just how the game panned out the first time. I mean, I don't know if anybody, came on the court and wasn't hyped to play and wasn't ready to get after somebody, that'd probably be an issue. So, I think that I don't think that anybody was worried about what type of intensity we were going to bring out the gate. And, I think that, obviously having that score during the shoot-around and during practice, during the days coming up towards the game, it just kept reminding us every time you look up there and just, you can't really avoid it because you see it every time you walk in the gym or walk out the gym while you're practicing, and when you look up at the how much time's left in each drill, so you see it all the time. So, I mean, yeah, it was definitely eating at me for sure, especially So this was definitely a game that we were all looking forward to, and that's exactly how we wanted to start off.
The two games represent like a 56-point turnaround. If you add them together, I mean, could you pick 2 or 3 things for us that are the huge differences between those two games?
I just think that we were more aggressive. We weren't settling as much. Obviously, taking the time to be able to and sit down and break down, what holes they had in their defense. Because at first, when we played the first time, it was a really high zone. It was a really high 1-3-1, and that was the first time we played against something like that. So it took us a little bit to adjust, and we could just and we weren't hitting shots at the same time, so we didn't really bail ourselves out many times, and we weren't being aggressive. So that was one of the biggest things, I think, was finding the gaps, being aggressive, and take advantages of our mismatches. And we put in a play touchdown that like Cody said, there wasn't anything crazy different, just guys moving a little bit to different spots, and it kind of opened up a little bit more holes. And then Second thing for me, I think that was just pressuring the ball 94 feet and just letting the guy in front of you that let him know that you're in the building. So, when we look back and watch film, I talked to Cody about it the other day. We didn't put enough pressure on the point guard on Mathis the first time. We just kind of let him go back and forth, and he looked really comfortable the first time. So that was a lot of that was on me and Cody for not picking up. So we made an emphasis on trying to make him cough up the ball. You know what I'm saying? So and just kind of let him know that the first time was fluke and that you're not gonna get away with it again. So
you guys have played real well the last 2-3 weeks, winning by 15 plus every game. How do you keep that going now over the next 2 months?
I just think it's a combination of the character of our guys, and and we have a lot of old guys on the team that are leaving after this year. So I don't think anybody on our team, especially because majority of the guys who are playing a lot of minutes are the older guys, and I don't think anybody is trying to put any brakes on anything and trying to slow anything up. If anything, we're just trying to create a bigger margin. When we win, and just trying to figure out a way to beat guys by even more, and just keep trying to figure out how to play even better. So we got a lot of guys who want to end off on a good note, and we keep looking at our record, and we keep noticing that the games are getting shorter. So we don't have that many left, and so we want to take full advantage of them.
How much better could this team play? Do you look at certain areas, or is it just consistency?
Oh yeah, I mean, like you said, yeah, pretty much just consistency. Like just trying to figure out a way to continue to get to the line, get free throws, and obviously knock down our open shots. And we're shooting it better from three, obviously, than we were in the beginning of the year. So we just finding room to improve, especially on the defensive end. There's a lot of little things that we still need to work on. Like a big emphasis from the first game when we played them was their big guys were just kind of pushing us up, whether it was on a switch or on our bigs, and they were kind of walking us up, and they were getting like the little lob pass over top way easier than they did this game. So we had to find that like little tweak that, and start crab walking guys down and using our legs a little bit more, and then we denied Mathis a little bit more. So there's stuff that we can work on all the time, and we figure out new things to work on after every game, because at some point throughout a game, throughout 40 minutes, guys, we get exposed on some of our defensive schemes, so and our offensive schemes. So we just we have a great staff who does a lot of their homework, and they make sure to to fill those holes.
What was your reaction to a 4 seed on this morning's telecast on CBS?
Oh, I mean, I didn't see that until I think it was like on Twitter or something like that. I mean, I don't really care. Everybody, as long as I've been here, we've always been the team that's had to prove ourselves. It doesn't matter how we're doing. It doesn't matter how far you go last year. It doesn't matter what you're ranked. All people see is that you're not in the ACC, or you're not in the Big Ten or whatever. So, guys are always gonna try to figure out a way not to put respect on your name, and always try to figure out a way and find excuses on why we shouldn't be as high as we should, or maybe we should be lower, or we shouldn't be ranked this, or I don't really care. We just trying to play and win the conference, to be honest with you. And then just like last year, when we get to the tournament, we'll figure it out then, and we'll do what we need to do.
When you were in the ACC, did you look at teams from Mountain West, or someone say they don't belong on the floor with us?
Oh yeah, of course. Like whenever you're in a bigger conference, you're always looking at other conferences like that and be like, man, they don't play nobody. They don't do this. They don't do that. But and then I'm sure they were saying the same thing last year. And we had 0 bigs last year, and then we play against the second ranked defensive team in the country, and we come back, and then we play against guys like Texas that are in huge conferences that wins a lot of games in their conferences. So. It's all talking to it's whatever until you get head to head, and then when when that's time, and then we'll do what we need to do.
You think there's people underestimating you guys, that thinking they're winning a lot of games, but what does that mean?
Yeah.
Is that good for you guys that they don't really know what we're about type of?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it's just I mean, it just comes with it. Like, you know, whenever you're like, when you're not in a big conference, and you know, and guys think you're playing against lower level competition, so that just comes with it no matter what. And it's like, I mean, we can't change mid-season and just go play ACC teams. So we're gonna play the best of our ability in the Mountain West, and because this is a very slept-on conference, we got a lot of good talent here and a lot of good guys that can go play anywhere in any of those conferences and do really well. So you know, we're just gonna keep our head down and keep doing what we need to do here, and you know, and focus on winning our conference, and then we'll worry about all the other stuff when we get there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Questions for Trey?
How happy are you with the way you guys played tonight?
I'm extremely happy with how we played tonight. You know, I feel like we played a strong first half, and you know, we played a fairly strong second half too as well. I mean, I think we'll be able to 62. I mean, that's pretty good. Probably could have held them a little bit lower, but you know, I think just together it was a pretty good performance today, all around, offensively and defensively.
What was the vibe like getting into this game, just knowing what happened in that first matchup with New Mexico?
Vibe was way more focused. You know, we saw where we kind of got exposed a little bit. We thought in certain aspects of the game we got out toughed, especially me myself. I saw that kind of on film, and I was upset with that. You know, just because I could have done better, you know, the first time. So you know, one thing I want to do is be a little bit more physical and kind of just let them know that I was kind of here. You know.
I know Coach left you know, the score from the last game on throughout practice to shoot around and things like that. I mean, what was the message you think he was trying to send with that?
That we got smacked. I mean, that's basically the message he's trying to send. I mean, that's one of the worst losses I've probably had in my career. I mean, I think I've had a couple of worse, but you know, that all around, it just felt bad. You know, so just seeing that up there is kind of like a spark within me, and I know some other guys on the team. You know, it was kind of a spark. You know, kind of just felt like that we can't let that happen again. You know, we're too old. We're so much of a veteran group that, you know, the score should never be that bad. You know, no matter who we play.
Did you have any idea that you'd have an offensive game like you had tonight? Did you?
Oh, no, I had no idea. I mean, my teammates did a great job of throwing me lobs and stuff like that. So, I mean, whatever I scored was because of them. You know, I wouldn't have scored as much as I did if it wasn't for out them. So, you know, that's all credit to them. Each and every one that was on the court with me at the same time.
You obviously have offensive skills. We've seen them. Mm-hmm. Did you kind of put that on the back burner a little bit this year to fit in with this team, that because they needed a big guy in the middle to be strong and visible and aggressive?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, Coach said, you know, he's drawn up plays, you know, to kind of get me ball in the block. But yeah, I mean, scoring was not been kind of like my main focus here. I really wanted to come here and just be an anchor defensively, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I wanted to be able to rebound the ball at a higher rate. I wanted to be able to block shots at a high rate. I just wanted to be able to just kind of give them help that they needed defensively. You know, I mean, scoring is great. I mean, I like catching lobs. I mean, that's pretty cool. But, you know, I didn't come into the season thinking, oh, I'm going to come in here and lead us in scoring or be top 5 in scoring. I didn't come in here thinking that.
It's good, though, to do that, though. Let that out every now and then.
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's definitely good to, you know, kind of have a good shooting out like I did tonight. I'm very appreciative of it.
Why is that not a big deal to you?
I've just been, I don't know, I think I've just gotten older. You know, it's not all about scoring for me. You know, there's so much more to the game that I feel like I take an emphasis on, in which a big thing, you know, ever since high school has been defensively. You know, knowing that the man that I'm lining up against is not going to score. That I take more pride in that than scoring 30 a night. You know, so I mean, that's kind of one of the things.
That's always kind of been your MO, though. That's not something that changed at all.
Never changed. I've always wanted to, you know, do my best defensively. I think I scored decently last year, you know, from my last school, but that's because they kind of wanted me to and in a way needed me to.
Why do you get more satisfaction from defense than offense? It's usually the opposite.
Because it's maybe that saying, like, no matter how much work you put in, and it's basically like saying, you know, you can spend all these hours in the gym, but just know that I'm gonna be there, and you're gonna have to earn it. Basically, you have to earn it.
Did their bigs kind of feel that, get a sense that they thought that maybe they could do the same thing that you guys, or especially in the middle that they did last time? That it was kind of a, you know, a gut check for you guys.
Yeah, I think you know, not as much today as this game as it was the first game, because, you know, I think from the opening tip, you know, we made a major emphasis on moving our feet in the post and fronting and having high hands and having high active hands on the ball as well. So I don't think as much, but I think today as a whole we did a much better job of just being more active, you know, with our hands and moving our feet and fronting the post and stuff like that.
You play with a lot of emotion. I mean, you show it out on the floor and all that. And I'm thinking of that opening dunk, and just, I mean, like, I'm thinking before the game, you must have been vibrating. I mean, like, ready to play this game. Is that true? Were you just that fired up?
Yeah, I actually try to calm it down a little bit. You know, I am the kind of the emotional one on the court. You know, we play with a pretty level-headed group, so I'm kind of like that wild card. So. You know, and I noticed that the past couple of years I've been getting in foul trouble, so I was like, you know, maybe you should dial it back a little bit and just let the game come to you and not be so jacked up and pick up, you know, silly, cheap fouls and stuff like that.
Team kind of feeds off of your energy too, because you're really outgoing about it. Everybody sees it. Everybody else is kind of, you know, reserved.
Yeah.
You do a little bit to kind of get everybody kind of fired.
No, most definitely. I mean, I didn't do it as much last, you know, my previous years in college, but this group is everybody's pretty mellow. Doesn't really show too much emotion. So I was like, I feel like I gotta, you know, if I get a, you know, electrifying dunk or something like that, I feel like I gotta get, you know, our bench, our crowd, and our players into it, you know, because I feel like they do feed off that type of energy, my emotion, sometimes.
Any more questions for Trey? Thank you.